So I'm interested to know, what do you do and how do you help people?
Sure, thank you. And I share what you're saying, the sentiments, what you're saying there, because I also went through burnout, working in the
Mm,
music industry, number
yeah,
one record,
yeah,
outperforming 4 or 5 times a night, often,
yeah,
and constantly driving to be in the charts. When's the next number one single that you're gonna have?
yeah,
And that's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves. And
yeah.
so I had to step back and really think about what I was passionate
Mm,
about, what I genuinely enjoy doing.
mm,
And so I still love working in the music industry, but as a
yeah,
publisher.
yeah.
And then I still use my voice,
Mm,
assisting brands with commercials and video games and so on. And so, Phil, if you can really connect with your passion and figure out how you can
mm.
create a solution for people using
Yes,
your passion, that can really make a difference. And
absolutely.
what I often do is that with my one-to-one sessions, just encourage
Mm,
people to look at where it is they want to be, what the
mm,
issue is, or what they feel is a stumbling block, and how we
mm,
can then reduce that and find a way around it to get them to where they want to be. And often I find people will have the answers, but
yeah,
there's fear and
yeah,
anxiety around taking that step. And
yeah.
that's natural because us humans, our brains are wired to do everything to help us survive and keep us safe.
Yes.
And often it's not as bad as we think it's going to be. If you could find a way to empower yourself to be consistent, build the right environment for the right habits
Mm,
to move forward,
yeah,
you're going to get there inch by inch.
yeah.
So I often talk to people who are professional, highly skilled, but lacking in confidence and need
Mm,
someone to assist with accountability and ideas for
yeah,
consistency and setting targets and so on,
yeah.
and help them through that process.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Most of the time, especially if it's something we've struggled with for so long, we don't think it can ever change. So when a solution is presented to us, we tend to have that resistance, right? Like, I don't think I should take this chance. I don't think this is going to work for me. So when you were saying, most people just have that fear of taking that step to actually change their life, I was thinking of how we've bought into the idea of, like, our mindset tells us this is it, this is our life, and therefore we don't anticipate that there's something we can do, or we can't even visualize how different our life can be from where we are today, because maybe that's all we've known for so long, and it can be really difficult. So just taking you back a little bit to when you mentioned that finding that passion and how even finding your voice, how did you come to recognize that was something you could use? Did you wake up one day and just have this voice and go like, oh, wow, I have this voice, what can I use it for?
You know what? Actually, I did. I remember as a teen, when your voice breaks naturally, and
Yes.
then people around me commenting, "Oh, your
Yeah.
voice, your voice." But then it took. I always had a love for music because my family life
Yeah.
was very much centered around reggae sound system, and
Mm,
this kind of upbringing
yeah.
very much helped me make the step towards music.
Mm,
But I there's something I had to recognize that there's music and there's and they're two different things often. And
mm,
I eventually later on start to venture into learning about business a lot more, learning about how to
mm,
create multiple streams of income, an ecosystem
yes.
to ensure that I create sustainability
Right.
and in an honest way, so that I'm enjoying and passionate about what I'm doing. Because
Mm,
we're only here for a small amount of time,
right.
really. And
Yes.
sadly, especially with at the time of recording this, a lot of people passing away around illness and so on.
Yes.
It makes you realize, well, hold on a minute,
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
prioritize what matters in my situation.
Yes.
So, what am I going to invest all of this life energy into, and why? And
Yeah.
how is it going to help? What kind of contribution am I
Yeah.
putting into the world by doing this? Yeah, once I started to do that, I started to edge closer to where I am now. And
That's
I really enjoy it.
that's awesome. So how long did it take? Was it like a gradual transition, or did you have like an event that happened for you that you decided, you know what, I need to move towards a different direction? What changed things for you?
I start to get bored with the music
Mm,
industry. Just the process of let's make a song, let's make a record, let's perform it, and
mm,
let's get it in the charts. That whole cycle just bores the life out of me. And
yeah.
no disrespect to anyone doing it, but
Right.
for me, I started to say, well, what else can I do with my voice? And I started to
Mm,
just have fun. I started to
Mm,
explore acting, and that led to me now being in films like Fighting with My Family and so on,
mm.
and popping up in Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and so on. But I remember a time where I was just walking in the background to create a shadow on where the action was really happening,
Yes.
and being excited about
Yes.
doing that. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because it
Yes.
was me recognizing, oh my gosh, I'm inching closer to where it is I want
Yes.
to be. And
Right.
this is the other thing I feel, in terms of stress and managing stress, especially when we're heading towards our goals, really
Mm.
taking the time to celebrate those milestones, be conscious and aware of, oh my gosh, I've moved from that place to that place ever so slightly, but it still matters
Yes.
because it all adds up. So yeah, I think that's been a very big thing in my situation.
That's really huge because most of the time, if our goal is not attainable yet, we are not there yet. If we don't pace ourselves, we can burn out in the process,
Yes.
can't we? And then we end up questioning, if I'm burnt out. And when you're burnt out, it's really hard to be creative, right? I don't know if that's the case for you. I find that when I'm tapped out, I have nothing to draw from because all I've been doing is just output. I haven't really pour anything in. I dry out, and then you tend to question maybe this wasn't the right path, especially if you just started out. You're thinking, oh, did I just lose inspiration? Was I taking a wrong turn? You start to doubt yourself whether you actually did the right thing. So how did you cultivate that balance? How do you even now do you how do you cultivate that balance?
Yeah, absolutely. And to sort of finish asking your question before that, I
Yeah.
think it was hitting a wall with burnout that I
Mm,
really had no choice but to ask myself, is
yeah.
this what I really love doing?
Yeah.
How is it enhancing my life? What's it really doing for me? And what do I need to
Mm,
tweak in order to make it work?
yeah.
And that's what led me here. And so for me, balance came with making sure that I always have a big idea. I really connect my mindset and my targets, and figure out, why am I doing this? Where's my sense of purpose?
Mm,
And I talk
yes.
about this in my book, How to Think Beyond the Chart Position.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, building my skills, ensuring that I'm staying on top of that and growing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's important to become, I don't know if you've heard of a gentleman called Daniel Priestley. He's written a book called
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneur Revolution
Mm-hmm.
and Key Person of Influence. And I love that whole series and what he's
Yes.
doing there,
Yeah.
because he shares how when you become a key person of influence, you attract opportunities. And I think
Right.
that's also a mindset and an openness, letting go
Yes.
of the fear and being willing to also step into your higher self.
Right.
And that's been big for me. Sometimes you may be on a journey that other people around you may be wondering, why on earth are you doing that? And if you're not careful, you start to doubt yourself. So having that sense of purpose and knowing why you're doing it can really
Yes.
help with inching through towards that place. And
Yeah.
so as I started to do that more, I
Mm.
recognize, wow, yeah, I'm loving this. It's making sense for me. And
Yes.
I then started to look at my relationships and how I interact with people,
Mm.
ensuring that I'm not just taking, but I'm finding a way to give into the relationships that I'm in, building a community and
Mm.
building in a way so that it becomes sustainable. And
Right.
that sense of sustainability and appreciation and giving helps me with balance,
Mm.
balance how I inch towards my goals and don't deplete. Now, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm human. So there are
Yes.
times I get frustrated, and there are times where, all of these emotions emerge. But again,
Yes.
as I said earlier, how am I going to react? How am I going to act upon these emotions? Am I going to act in fear and become
Yeah.
aggressive and whatever? Or am I going to stop and acknowledge it, forgive myself,
Yes.
recognize the heart, the core of why this fear exists, and then find a way
Yes.
to address it, and
Yes.
then go on from there. The journey of really understanding myself more.
Mm.
I think often when we're trying to, especially move forward, we're
Mm-hmm.
constantly looking externally, and
Yes.
I feel it's so important to start with and constantly check in with us. Who am I? Why am I? Where's my
Yes.
purpose?
Mm.
Where's my fear? Why do I fear? Where's my love?
Mm.
Why do I love?
Mm.
How can I love more? How can I give more?
Yes, that's really huge. So did you find, because when you're talking about when you were transitioning and people around you not understanding what you're doing, did you find that was the case for you when you were kind of moving away from the music industry, or how did everybody around you kind of receive you in that time?
Yeah, always. See, I still write music, I still perform and sing, but I'm very selective. In the past, I got to a point where, because I was solely reliant on music to make a living, I would often, maybe do things or entertain conversations around projects that I weren't really that into. Whereas now, because I'm doing so many other things that I'm passionate about, that I don't have to, that help that bring me an income and so on as well, I don't have to worry about it. If I don't like it and I
Yes.
genuinely don't feel it, it's like, no,
Yes.
do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm not going to do it. And that
Yes.
habit has seeped into every
Mm.
area of my life. So yeah, lots of people say, "Well, you need to do some more Barry White covers. You need to," and I was like, "Okay, so I'm going to do what feels right for me to do." And in time, there'll be there'll be a Spoon album, how I want it to be, and so on. But I'm really having fun doing all these other things that I do.
Yes.
And there is that. But again, taking it back to purpose, if you can really figure out who you are and why you're doing what you do, it doesn't matter. But equally,
Mm.
positive critique is really important. And so I always stay
Yes.
open to positive feedback from people whose opinions I trust and
Mm.
so on.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
important.
Sometimes we may have ideas that we want to pursue, but we're not sure. Do you tend to check in with somebody, or do you just kind of step out and do it and just feel your way through it? What's your process like?
So I feel that having either a council or a group of people that you trust that you can connect with is really helpful. And you know what? I want to share something with you that I found really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking about this whole thing about mentors and so on. Things that I do is you can, or
Yes.
anyone can do really. You set up an Instagram account, private one, and you
Mm-hmm.
just literally follow the people who really inspire you. Whoever it may be. Diana Van Sant, I don't know, Oprah, Tony Robbins,
Mm-hmm.
whoever,
Yes.
and follow their feeds, follow their information, and surround yourself. So every time you go to that Instagram account, you're
Mm.
just getting information from them.
Yeah.
Books and audio books and other ways to consume all of that great information
Mm.
is so helpful. If you and especially if you can't afford a mentor program or someone you can work with one to one,
Yes.
and it's so easy nowadays to go online, check out some videos, and create your own playlist of great insights that you can use to inform your decisions and so on. But I
Mm.
definitely feel it helps to, again, getting back to environment, put yourself in and around people that are progressive and moving in a direction that you would like to be in. And it just really helps with accelerating the process.
Yes, that's a really good point, that the mentor doesn't necessarily have to be someone you know and they know you back. Even just someone that you follow that provides that support and information that can help you is in a way like your virtual mentor that can help you kind of see a way that the next step that you need to do. And that definitely has worked for me, that there are people that I follow a lot. And sometimes you grow through different people, and like you follow someone for so long and they've helped you through a certain stage, and then you start following somebody else, then they help you in a different stage of life. And I've definitely found that to be the case for me personally. So I see a lot of what you're talking about to be really helpful. So Spoon, share with us what you're currently working on, where they can find you, what project you're currently interested in.
So I've been asked to get involved in a lot of acting projects and so on, which I'm really excited about. So it means that I'm limiting a lot of what I do in terms of one-to-one consultancy and so on, and voiceover coaching. But please check out the success tips, or please
Okay.
find me at Spoonface1 on Instagram, on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter also, and send me a message. I'll try and
Yes.
reach out to you. Check out my book, How to Think Beyond the Chart Position. I also run a group called Ready for Dreams, and
Mm-hmm.
this is all about empowering people to take a mindful moment to
Yes.
sort of empower themselves.
That's
And
awesome.
if you do need a voice for your project, I run an agency, and maybe I can assist there with our vocal ninjas on the roster.
Yes.
But I wanted to really thank you for inviting me
Yeah.
to connect and share. I love what you're doing, such great
Oh,
energy,
that's
and
good.
just wish you all the best always.
Oh, I'm so glad that you could be here. I was so happy when you said yes, because I knew that your work can make a huge difference to this community. I know it has made a huge difference for me. I've been following your channel for a bit now. When I discovered you, I was like, I was hooked. I was watching your
Oh,
videos back on back. And so I knew that if I found it helpful, I know people in this community would definitely find it helpful, and they would definitely want to be coming over to your channel and contacting you if they need one-on-one work as well. Can you tell the audience what's the best place to find you? Is it on your Twitter, or is it Instagram or Facebook group, or what's the best place to contact you?
if you would like to contact me, please feel free to find me on Instagram at Spoonface1. That's Spoonface the number one, and then also my YouTube channel, Ready for Dreams. But the successtips.com is also so important for me, because it's the
Yes.
place where I can offer some insights in terms of connecting your passion with
Yes.
creating a solution for people, building business, becoming more visible online, and that kind of thing. And it excites me. I really do enjoy doing that. So you can find me there too, thesuccesstips.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Spoon, and thank you for being with us today. It was an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Nice one.
As we all say on this channel, focus on your being than your doing. And until next time, may you have a rested life.